Jerusalem, 1119. 9 knights vow to guard the roads where faith and steel collide. So poor they shared one horse, they called themselves the Poor Knights of Christ. King Baldwin II grants them quarters on the Temple Mount, site of Solomon's temple. From this sacred height came a new name, the Knights of the Temple of Solomon. Hugues de Payens leads with austere purpose and austere means. Prayer before patrol, steel after, soldiers of Christ. Their mission is simple, brutal, necessary: protect pilgrims. White mantles marked with a red cross became a promise on dangerous roads. Bandits and war bands learned to fear disciplined charge and iron discipline. They trained, prayed, and rode as one body. Vows of poverty and chastity. Wealth counted only in deeds. Their reputation spread, their numbers grew. At Troyes, the church listens. The order seeks a rule. Bernard of Clairvaux champions them. Monks in mail, purity in purpose. The Council of Troyes approves their rule, setting prayer to the rhythm of war. They answer not to kings, but to Rome. Commanderies bloom from the Levant to the Atlantic. The Red Cross becomes a brand of fearless service. By sword and sacrament, the Iron Monks take root. Their story is only beginning. Power gathers where duty meets opportunity. And behind stone, a new kind of strength awakens. Silver speaks a language sharper than steel. The world's first global bankers are born. A pilgrim deposits gold in London and draws it in Acre. A letter of credit travels safer than a purse. Templar ink links continents by trust and seal. The Pope grants privileges, they answer only to the Holy See. Tax exemptions turn offerings into empire. They safeguard kings, treasuries and fund crusades. Stone masterpieces crown frontiers. Architecture becomes strategy, carved in limestone. Fleets carry grain, men and messages across the inland sea. Commerce funds the cause and fills their coffers. From Ireland to Outremer, one rule, one rhythm. Faith, finance and force beat in time. A network without precedent spans Christendom. Authority travels faster than armies, seal, courier, obedience. Security becomes a science, compartments, codes, controls. Europe's elite trust Templar vaults more than their own. Even monarchs become clients and sometimes debtors. Yet the rule binds them. Prayer at dawn, humility at dusk. Poverty in habit, wealth in reach. Privilege isolates them from local law, and envy grows. Power always casts a shadow. For a century, the Red Cross stands astride two worlds. Numbers don't bleed, but they decide battles. Yet the Order's soul remains in the saddle. The Iron Monks were forged for war. Steel is still their scripture. Faith at the pommel, fate at the edge. The way of the sword begins. Charge. Their code is absolute. Never retreat unless outnumbered 3-1. Obedience, humility, ferocity, braided into one oath. Armour like penance, weapon like prayer. Precision beats panic. Impact is doctrine. Cavalry, disciplined and devastating. Montgisard, 1177. A smaller host faces Saladin's worth. Numbers betray them, their nerve will not. A moment of silence before the roar. Steel arrowheads of men drive into the flank. Surprise becomes dread. Shields shatter, resolve holds. Training rescues chaos. Against odds, a field is won. They called them iron, not for armour, but for will. Confession and thanks before rest. Offerings of wood and war. Maintenance is survival dressed as ritual. Tomorrow demands courage again. Their art is repetition until instinct. Under mail, a monk's vow. Stone for war, stone for worship, joined. Victory writes their legend, and envy writes their fate. Debt sharpens knives in velvet halls. Friday, October 13th, 1307. King Philip IV moves against the order he owes. Mass arrests sweep France before dawn. Accusations are whispered as truths, heresy, idolatry, secret rites. Paperwork for ruin. A king removes a rival with ink and terror. Cells fill, rumours multiply. Confessions drawn in fear stain the record. An idol's name haunts the proceedings. Baphomet. Trials tangled in politics and piety unfold. Under pressure, Rome hesitates, then bends. Fire answers questions power cannot. The last Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, refuses silence. In 1314, he is led to the flames. He calls God to judge the king and the pope. A man burns, a legend ignites. Ash on stones, questions in the air. By 1312, the order is dissolved. But not every ledger, not every ship, is found. Where did their treasure go? Where did their fleet vanish? The answers would feed centuries. The Iron Monks pass into myth and memory, but their shadow endures. In Scotland, Roslin's stonework whispers of hidden lore. Patterns invite theories like moths to flame. Elsewhere, relics stir devotion and debate. Explorers chase tunnels, secrets and signs. Stories send fleets to far horizons in the mind. The Holy Grail becomes a quest more than a cup. Some link them to the Ark, hidden from history's storms. Modern fraternities borrow symbols and mystique. Finance still runs on trust, ledgers and networks they pioneered. Architecture echoes their era in stone and light. Scholars sift fact from fable, layer by layer. For believers, legacy is faith carried forward, from poor riders to power brokers to prisoners. Their rise was swift, their fall swifter. Yet ideas outlive institutions. Every age writes its own Templar. Between legend and ledger stands their true legacy. The Iron Monks rise, fall and echo.